All right, so welcome to the Blueprints, where I am joined by one of my biggest mentors and a dear friend of mine, the Honorable Andrea Wolfson. And I will do a very brief background because I the whole point is for her to tell you more about herself than for me. But Judge Wolfson was an assistant state attorney in Miami-Dade County. She became a special assistant United States attorney in the Southern District of Florida. She then took the county court bench where she served in the criminal division beginning in 2010 to 2018. And then in 2018, she made the leap to become the circuit court judge serving in the criminal division and was also the administrator decided like trying cases left and right wasn't enough. We'll just take on a few more responsibilities. So from 2021 to 2025, she was the administrative judge over in the criminal division. Uh, and so, Judge, I know we were talking offline a little bit about this concept of giving the judges essentially the power to tell about themselves, right? As opposed to us litigants opining about what this judge is like. So I will run down the questions. It's not quite a rapid fire. It's just kind of like, whatever is a fulsome response for you. So, Judge, I guess the first question is, why did you get into the law? Why did you become a lawyer?
It's a great question. It's funny because but first of all, thank you so much for having me. I adore you. Um, so I have a room full of interns actually with me as we speak, and we were kind of talking about what brought me to this place. And I think almost had to be hit over the head with it in some respects because my mom and dad, as a little kid, were always like, you need to become a lawyer, probably because, like every child, I would talk back and try to argue with them. But it was just not at all on my radar. I was pre-med. I graduated with my bachelor's in pre-med and a master's in biology. But there came a time throughout my time studying science that I really became interested in bioethics and forensics. And I think that kind of those two things were so close to the legal profession that I kind of crept along, and all of a sudden I found myself in it, to the point of where a really good mentor of mine said, I think that this is something that you're good at, that you're not even really recognizing in yourself. And although it was terrifying and to kind of switch gears in such a way, I couldn't be happier. And it really, when I say, you know, how did you become interested in the law? It really ends up being criminal law, and that's where my passion is. And I've even sort of romanticized it maybe too much over the years that it's a calling. I think, and that's gonna. I did have the preview to the next few questions, but so that idea of being a public servant, and that led me directly to becoming an assistant state attorney, and that was just who I am. It really is in my DNA.
I love it. I love it. Well, I guess then you kind of gave the segue. I usually the next question I want to know is why did you become a judge?
Yeah, once again, bopped over the head with some good mentors who literally, and this is such a great lesson, I think, for people, is that sometimes other people can see in you things that you don't see yourself for a variety of reasons. You've got your blinders on, you're focused and working and doing so many things that other people see things in you. And I had an amazing mentor, retired Judge Izzy Reyes, who
Yeah.
I appeared in front of from the beginning of his judicial career and then throughout his judicial career. And over time, when I would go into his courtroom to appear for cases, he would call me sidebar and check up with me and then say, when are you going to apply? And I was like, what for? I'm really happy. I'm totally content being a prosecutor, whether it was at the state or the federal level. And but that put a, kind of a thought in my head to the point where I started to go and watch the judges with a more discerning eye. It wasn't just that I was appearing in court for the case that I was there for, but more, how does this judge listen? How does the judge prepare? Does the judge prepare? Does the judge listen? All of those types of things. And then it probably what seemed like one of the most inopportune times ever was literally right when my daughter was born. I interviewed to become a county court judge and got the position on my second attempt when she was 5 months old. So fast forward, she's 16 and my son's 18, and here we are.
Gosh, and we were laughing off record where I remember trying a case and they were walking in 4-2.
That's
It's like,
right.
what is wrong? What is happening?
That's right.
Um, so Judge, I guess the last and final question is, and you can kind of take this in whatever direction you want. But the question everyone asks is, what do I need to know about this judge before I appear in front of them? So again, I just want to ask the judges, what would you want us to know about you? Or about your process or about your judicial philosophy, whatever, beyond the we follow the law, about you before we appear.
Yeah, and that's something you and I were talking about before as well. I think it's the smartest thing that a lawyer can do before they appear, whether it's just for a minor hearing or for a full-blown trial, is to do some research on the judge and what the judge's expectations are. I strive every day to be a judge that I would have appreciated appearing in front of, because my entire time was in the courtroom. That was my entire legal practice. And so I always wanted a judge who was prepared, who would listen, who was respectful and kind to everyone in the courtroom, whether it be lawyers, litigants, the clerks, corrections, staff. And that's what I try to do every single day. I will listen to the arguments. I will ask questions when necessary. I've learned a lot through my time on the bench through the 16 years. I think there was a time when I first started that I felt compelled to be a bit of a hot bench, almost like I was in an appellate setting. And I realized that wasn't helping anybody and not me. I'm the one that needs to understand the facts and the arguments. And so, I know when to sort of stay in my lane. I will not sit back though and not speak up about certain things. And I should say, as an aside, the beauty of being in the criminal division, especially through all the years in county court and now in the circuit court, is that I have newer lawyers who appear in front of me. And I feel like it is my absolute obligation to take their training that they're receiving in their individual offices and bring that to life in the courtroom. I had the benefit of that. Another mentor of yours, and you and I share, Judge Beth Bloom in federal court. She is with me literally in everything that I do in the courtroom. And I feel so blessed to, kind of be able to pass it on and pay it forward to an extent.
Well, Judge, I'll close with this. One is, I think I was the victim of your hot bench, by the
I
way.
saw a little twinkle in your eye.
I was like, I mean, it's great as a 24-year-old kid that's trying 3 cases a week, but I was like, man, this woman is moving.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but that was just a fun little reminder. And Judge, I just want to finish by acknowledging you, in that you in a world where everyone's jumping to the next big thing, and generally we're driven, and I say all of us, right, driven by ego and wanting to be front and center. Your movements have always been fueled by the core value of yours, which is service. And you have served a lot of us well that have wanted and sought that. So thank you. I wanted to acknowledge that.
You.
And yeah, thanks for taking a few moments to tell us about yourself. And
I'm so proud of you, Mayor.
thanks, Judge. And so thank you for your time, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.